Hello, this is Vladimir from We Design Motion. Today we are going to create this grunge shaky text animation with cool textures, aberrations, and light flickering. Let's begin. Let's create a new comp. I'll call it text per comp. Add a new text layer. Center it. Click on the Animate menu in the text parameters. Select Enable Per Character 3D. Add position and set the Z position to -2700. Then add opacity as well and set it to 0. Let's animate the offset. Set it to -100 at frame 0. Go forward 40 frames and set it to 100. I'll add easy ease to the keyframes and adjust the curve for a more smooth animation. In the advanced section, change the shape to ramp up. Set the both eases to 50 and randomize the order. Let's also turn on the motion blur for the text. Looks good. Drag and drop the text pre-comp into a new comp. Let's call it Shaker. Rename the text pre-comp layer as well. And turn on motion blur. Select the text layer and add a slider control. Call it Frequency. Duplicate it and rename to Amount. Duplicate once more and rename to Seed. Click P for the position and Alt-click on the stopwatch. Add a seed random expression and link it to the seed slider. This expression ensures the consistent behavior of some random effects. Type wiggle, parenthesis, then firstly link to the frequency slider, add a comma, and link to the amount slider. OK. Set frequency to 3, amount to 30, and seed to whatever you want. Now, with the wiggle expression, the text has some nice procedural shaking. The text is cut on the side a bit, so I'll scale it up. Good. Add a fill effect. Set it to green. Duplicate the text layer and change the tint color to blue. Set the new layer to add. With the second layer selected, press E twice to reveal the expressions. Then select the first layer. Switch back to the expression. Delete the arguments, just like that, one by one, and relink them to the first layer sliders. Now the second layer expression is controlled by the first layer. So, if we need to adjust the wiggle animation, we only need to do it once. I will also multiply the amount by 1.3 to get the aberrations. We can delete the second layer sliders now. The both layers are randomly moving in the same manner, but the second layer amplitude is a bit bigger. Duplicate the second layer and change the tint color to red. Press E twice to reveal the expressions and change the amount multiplier to 1.6. Now we have some cool aberrations that appear with the text motion. Looks good. We can try testing other values. For example, decrease the frequency and increase the amplitude. We can do it only once for the first layer, and it will work for the whole animation. Let's create a dark purple layer. Put it on the bottom. Let's rename it. It will be the background. I have a bunch of grunge textures here. Let's use Grunge 8. Drop it to the timeline. Scale it down a bit. Set it to add and change the opacity to 25. We want it to move together with the other layers, so I copy the position parameter from the top text layer. Let's also decrease the amount multiplier down to 0.8, like the texture is closer to the background. Let's check the preview. Great. Duplicate the texture layer and put it on top. Hold Alt or Option on Max and drag and drop another texture onto the timeline to replace it. Let's increase the new texture wiggle multiplier up to 2. Duplicate the top layer and replace the copy with another grunge texture. Reveal the expressions and change the multiplier to 3. Let's see how it is looking. Looks good so far. Let's create an adjustment layer. I'll call it Effects. We'll start with adding a Curves effect. Let's add a bit of contrast with a slight S-curve. Next, add an Exposure effect. Let's copy the seed random expression from one of the text layers to use it for exposure flicker. Alt-click on the exposure stopwatch, paste the seed random expression, then hit enter, and type wiggle, parenthesis, 6,1. With wiggle, we'll get a nice procedural light flicker that fits the animation perfectly. Great. Next, add a glow effect. Set the radius to 90 and the intensity to 0.2. Duplicate the background layer and rename it to Blur Map. Solo it for now. Add a circle effect. Set the radius and the feather to 800. Turn the layer off and put it on the bottom. Switch back to the effects layer and add a camera lens blur effect. Set the blur radius to 45 and select Pentagon as a shape. Select the blur map layer as a map. Finally, invert the map to blur the edges. Duplicate the camera lens blur effect. Set the radius to 0 and turn off the blur map. Alt-click on the radius stopwatch, paste the seed random expression, hit enter and add wiggle. Parenthesis 6,15. Now we'll have some blur animation together with the light flicker. Let's add a vignette. Go to Effect, Stylize, and add CC Vignette. Set the amount to 150. Awesome. Now let's duplicate the FX layer, delete all the effects, and rename it to Aberrations. Add a 3D glasses effect. Set both left and right views to the same Aberrations layer. Select Balance Colored Red-Blue as a 3D view. Set Scene Convergence to 2 and Balance to 4. The black strips appeared on the sides, so let's add a Transform effect and increase the scale up to 100.5, just a touch. Finally, let's add some noise. I will set it to 4. Let's check the final result. Looks great. I've added a bunch of grunge textures into the project zip file. Feel free to test them all. And don't forget about adjusting the animation settings to whatever works best for you. Hit the like button if this was helpful, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching and happy editing. See you soon.